Hello.
Well, good afternoon. How are you doing, Miss Whitehead?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, it's Mr. Rated Extraordinaire, the Teddy Bear. Welcome to Night Traxx Radio. And today's artist spotlight, singer, songwriter, gifted, very gifted songwriter, Hattie Whitehead. And I want to say greetings and salutations to here in the States and all the lovely people and family over the UK. Thank you for tuning in live. We are streaming via iHeart Radio. And young lady, we have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, the new hit single, Alive. But I want to get like Doctor Who a little bit and go back in the time machine just a wee bit. And I want to talk about your growth as a songwriter. And I want to go all the way back to your EP, Old Soul. And I want to ask you, where have you seen your progression as a songwriter, where we're at right now today?
Well, I would just link it massively with my growth as a person, to be honest. I think the two things just go hand in hand. As you develop as a human being, you develop as a songwriter. The kind of themes of your writing changes as you grow your awareness of yourself and the world around you. So yeah, I feel like I'm, my songwriting now is like 5 years older than the Old Soul EP.
Right. Listening to your music, every song sounds like you're going on this, like you're on this journey of self-discovery on who you are, not just as a woman, but as an artist. And a lot of your songs, you have have a way of just inputting poetry in a lot of your music. And I want to find out, does poetry play a heavy part of your music as far as connecting the dots in your lyrics?
Well, yeah, my relationship with poetry is, it goes back pretty far. My mum was a poet, and, I remember being on like family holidays and my mum wanting to play poetry games with us all. And I remember at the time feeling like, oh, this is so boring. I don't want to do this. But I'm very grateful for it now. But yeah, my lyrics are, I suppose, yeah, I do love good poetry. I wouldn't be someone that kind of goes out and seeks out a lot of it and reads a lot of it. But I appreciate writing that is from the heart and that is, honest and that paints a picture, particularly, paints a picture of an emotion in a way that's easily digestible for people.
I want to touch upon something that you just said as far as emotions. Does it different seasons, whether it's winter, spring, summer, and fall, does it equate to any of your music as far as the level of transparency that you show and display in your music?
Do the seasons play a role? Did you say?
Yes.
I suppose they probably do. To be honest, my seasons go with my life experience, really.
Oh, okay.
I would say I follow what my experience is of life, rather than specifically the seasons. But having said that, I do tend to want to be a bit of a hermit in the winter and I want to go and see the world in the summer. So
right.
Perhaps my writing in the winter is more introverted and my writing in the summer is, looking outwards a bit more.
Right. I understand. I think one of the great things about being an artist, or artists find certain things to gain, I would have to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspiration, journeys, transparency, and a lot of your music. I'm going all the way back to more than that from the EP Old Soul. And the level of transparency that you show in that music is astonishing. And a lot of us, as you say, some of us are introverted and some of us are extroverted. And the ones that are introverted have a tendency to better communicate through writing poetry, writing short stories, sonnets, so to speak. or for you, you have a immaculate way of communicating your thoughts and your feelings through your music. And I wanted to ask you, when did you know this was your passion? This is what you were meant to do?
Well, I've always that's really kind as well. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And I've always played music since childhood. Like the first recordings of me writing songs was from when I was about the age of 3. And we've got this tape of my dad playing guitar while I make up songs. The songs are distinctly more immature, let's say, singing about like slugs and like witches' cauldrons and
okay.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of actually seriously looking at songwriting, I wanted to write for a long time. I always performed other people's music when I was younger and when I was in my teens. But it was when I'd already finished university when I started writing, and I felt like I'd been through like quite a nasty breakup at that time, and it was probably one of the first times I'd had to make some adult decisions for myself and experience what the consequences of making those big decisions were. And I think the experience of doing that sort of opened something up, and I started writing. And as soon as, you know, I'd written one song, the songs were flowing out of me thick and fast. So I just wrote loads, and at the same time I was teaching myself to play guitar, so that I could use it as a tool for writing, but also so that I could accompany myself on gigs. But yeah, once I was developing my guitar playing as well, there was no stopping me at that point, because I was working in a bar at the time. So I would be out working late in the bar, and then I'd just have all day living at my parents' house, locking myself in my room, just writing and playing. Yeah.
What is it like to have the ability to touch so many people with your music, or have people come up to you or approach you after a performance and said, this particular song that you were singing, I was going through that. It really touched me in a way that no one could really understand. That's a lot of responsibility to have, knowing that you have the ability to affect so many people from an emotional standpoint. How are you able to, I guess, keep an even balance with that kind of level of responsibility?
Yeah, to be honest, it's a huge honor to hear when the songs that I've written, drawing from my own experience, have kind of completed their cycle and they've been relevant to a different human being. Like that for me, that's the whole point in songwriting, is that you take an experience of your own, or an experience with someone close to you, you express what you feel as a result of that experience, and then that becomes a tool for expression of someone else's feelings. It's like it helps other people to process things, and it's an honor. I love that about music making. That's really the thing that makes me come back to it again and again. And you can get lost in the industry side of releasing music and
right.
focusing on the business. And then when you come to release a song and someone messages saying, a lot of my writing is informed by grief. So I've had messages from people that have said, I've lost a close friend or a family member, and this music has really helped me to process that. And it's been company through that experience. And that's such a special thing. It's so special.
You're a very unique and very special artist. And I've always said, just listening, having an opportunity to listen to your music, you weave a tapestry through each song. And I know it takes a very special producer to have the ability to bring even more out of you. And I wanted to ask you, what was it like to have that kind of relationship with John Reynolds, working with him? What was that like?
Oh, working with John was great. He's an amazing person. Yeah. I mean, we got on straight away, really. We kind of, we shared, we chatted, we had lots of kind of shared feelings about the world. I'm sure we put the world to rights many times during our sessions. But what is amazing about John is that he really just cares about the music that's being made, and he cares about communicating a feeling through a song, and he kind of puts the song together, starting with the vocal, because obviously my songs are very autobiographical, so first and foremost the message needs to be communicated by my voice, and then everything that he adds to the track it's all there for a reason, and that is it's complementing the story being told through the voice. So that was a really amazing experience, and he's also just totally not driven by ego. He's driven by a passion for making meaningful music. So that was where we really kind of saw eye to eye as well, was that we were both in it for that reason. And
Right.
sometimes I might put forward some ideas, and John would take that, and sometimes John might pitch in when he felt it was really important for the creation of the music. So I think we worked well in that way, and he made it really easy. He also pushed me to my full potential a lot of the time, when it comes to
that. I love that, because you have to when you challenge yourself, because just the few short minutes I've had an opportunity to converse with you, it comes across that you're your biggest critic, and you need to continually. You are your biggest critic, so it's a wonderful experience when you know that you have someone that has that same kindred spirit, that they see what you can't see, and they want to bring the best out of you. And that EP Mechanism was incredible. And now you're leaving people wanting more. You give us a little bit of just a taste of the cheesecake a little bit with the new single Alive. When can we expect another EP from you?
Well, I've been working on lots of music with John, so we do have some more singles on the way, and I did reveal a few weeks ago that I've been working towards a full album. So, so later on this year, you can expect to see a full body of work, which is very exciting.
Well,
it's been brewing for a long time.
We are definitely excited. And for those who are tuning in late, shame on you. The Teddy Bear does forgive you. We're being joined today by a very special, very gifted singer-songwriter, Hattie, of course. Whitehead is joining us from the UK. New hit single Alive is available as we speak. But also, while I have you here, make sure you stop by her Bandcamp website where you're able to purchase all of her music. That's at HattieWhitehead.bandcamp.com. What was it like growing up in Southwest London? Because London has such I would say, a jambalaya of music, where it's from blues to folk to jazz to R&B and even rock. What was it like growing up in that kind of environment?
Well, I grew up around a lot of jazz, because my dad is he's a jazz saxophone player and composer. So a lot of my childhood was spent like falling asleep on the back row at one of my dad's gigs in a jazz club somewhere. There's one specific place that is like a home from home for me. It's called the 606 Club in Chelsea. And I used to go to my dad's gigs there and sort of fall asleep as it got later. And then later on, as an adult, I went back and I worked there. And I've also since gigged there. So it's like, it feels like a a music venue that's sort of seen my kind of upbringing a lot. But yeah, I mean, I was around a lot of music. My dad, as I say, was a jazz player, and my mum was really into like kind of folk artists of the 60s and 70s, like listened to loads of Joni Mitchell, loads of John Martin. James Taylor was like family favorite of ours. So that was kind of the musical backdrop at home. And then, you know, growing up in London and becoming a teenager and young adult there was just so much on offer to go and see. There's almost so much on offer that it's a bit overwhelming. There's so much choice that you're kind of led to the shows by what you've grown up listening to, you know, or what your friends listen to, or but yeah, I've been lucky enough to see some amazing gigs in London and play in some of the venues that I would have been to as a teenager as well. So that's nice.
Without question, your acoustic guitar playing is simply breathtaking. It's something magical playing an acoustic guitar, and you seem that you have become one with that instrument. But I also want to ask you, I know that other people that are tuning in would like to know, is music somewhat a muse to you? Is that your safe haven for Hattie Whitehead?
That's interesting. Hilariously, in my spare time,
Okay.
I quite often like to sit in silence. I obviously,
that makes two.
yeah, right, okay.
Right.
Yeah. I love listening to music as well, but I have to be, I think I can't, I find it difficult having music on and doing something else. Like
Right.
I quite like to have my full attention on what I'm listening to. And in order to have my full attention on it, I need to be in the right mindset.
Yeah.
But when I am, it feels like it can often feel like therapy. You know, when I really connect with a song, it's
Yeah.
you know, it, like I was saying earlier, it helps you to process emotions, and it helps to bring things up, bring things to the surface. So
Yeah. It really
in that
does.
sense, it is. I think it's quite freeing in that sense, in the way that it helps you to realize how you actually feel about something. And I find that with writing as well, is that suddenly a song might emerge, and then I'm like, oh, that's how I feel about that thing that happened. Oh yeah, I feel a bit angry about that actually, and I might not have got there until putting it to music. So
Right.
yeah,
You mentioned a very special artist earlier by the name of Miss Joni Mitchell. She is one of one. She is one of one. She is an incredible songwriter, and people have said, you know, she is the standard pole of what a songwriter, an epitome of a songwriter should be. I'm a huge fan of hers, and also I'm a huge fan of Simon and Garfunkel. I think when they were together, they were incredible together as a unit. I wanted to know from you, is there any particular song that has really just touched you from an emotional standpoint, where it just brought out some emotions that you didn't even realize that you had?
Yeah, I think the songs that do that for me are, I kind of go through levels of listening. Like on the first listen, it'll be all about the melody and the harmony for me, and then I'll delve into the lyrics after having processed all that. So I have a few listens, but I actually play in a band that celebrate the music of Joni Mitchell.
Okay.
And we kind of tour around the UK, playing material of hers from her era of like around the Shadows and Light era, when she was playing with all of the kind of jazz greats of the time, like Jaco Pastorius and Lyle Mays and Michael Brecker, and playing her material has really helped me to connect with the songs. And the beauty of it is that we could be doing a tour of like 5-6 shows in a row, and every single night I'll find a different emotional connection to the same song. So actually the one that it's happened most with is Hijira by
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I just find my attention being drawn to different lines on different nights. And I love that she, in her lyrics, she seems so aware of herself intrinsically, but simultaneously she's aware that she's like a tiny like grain of sand in like in a massive universe.
Right.
And I just feel like the fact that she can communicate both of those extremes in one song is just amazing. Like,
it really is. It really is. And that's the wonderful thing about her in general, is that she has such self-awareness of who she is and what part she plays in this big universe. Like you said, we're all little pebbles of sand in this great big universe, and we're all just trying to somewhat connect the dots. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy about your music. And I wanted to ask you, finishing this new single, Alive, after finishing it and putting the amount of work and time on a new single, after it was done and completed, did you have any afterthoughts after that? Do you think you could have tweaked it here, tweaked it there, maybe added this or added there to the song? Or you said, you know what, I don't use the term satisfied, but you felt okay about it after you finished?
I mean, I'm sure I could go through a lot of the material that I've released and I'd be like, oh, maybe I should have changed this. But having said that, we did a lot of back and forth with the mix and going in and adding, making little tweaks. And what I would do when we were working on this collection of songs was I would take the mixes out on a run and I would just listen to it while I was running, and by the time I got home, I had like a list of things that I wanted to change. So I went on a lot of runs. But yeah, I think also, you could be a perfectionist, and I have been, and I've learned that actually, life is about growing and learning as you go. And so I think I'm trying to apply that to releasing music, and just, it's a snapshot of that period of time, and then we move from there and we write a new song, which is going to be developed a little bit more, and we record it in a way where we've learned from how we recorded before. So yeah, I'm trying not to dwell too much on what I would have changed, I think.
But as you said, we all strive for perfection, but perfection is something that we will never achieve.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the process of just attempting to do it is a beautiful experience. And speaking of a beautiful experience, what I'd like to do is bless all the many listeners and people that are watching live with the new hit single, Chorus Alive. And we're going to get into it right now by the captivating and super talented Hattie Whitehead here on Night Tracks Radio.
I wanna know you on the inside. I wanna see the colors of your mind. And though you try to hide, I know what that looks like. If you try What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I don't wanna grow old just doing what I'm told. I don't wanna go on just getting along. I wanna be alive. I wanna get to know you on the inside. I wanna see your darkness and your light. And though you try to push it down, you know it's gonna come back around. If you try to hide from me, if you take this practically, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I don't wanna grow old just doing what I'm told. I don't wanna go on just getting along. I wanna be alive till the day that I die. I wanna be alive.
Simply beautiful. The incredibly talented Miss Hattie Whitehead with her new hit single, Alive, available as we speak. But what I need you to do, family, is stop by her Bandcamp website, because if you stop there, you can purchase all of her music. Of course, the incredible Mechanism EP is there, Old Soul, it is there. Be sure to purchase that at HattieWhitehead.bandcamp.com. And you say, well, Teddy Bear, I would love to see her perform. When am I have that opportunity? I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to hit you with it. Be sure to take a train, plane, automobile. If you have to take a camel, make sure you get to the UK. She'll be performing on May the 22nd. That's at Servant Jazz Quarters. To get the ticket information, go to www.servantjazzquarters.com. The Teddy Bear's going to have to make a trip to jolly old England, love, and come see you perform.
You'd be very welcome.
I gotta have, is there any plans this year, or maybe in the earlier part of next year, that you'll come play here in the States?
I mean, I'm not sure at the moment, to be honest. I would absolutely love to come to the States and play. But yeah, it's complicated.
No.
It's very difficult for artists like me to get over there, to be honest.
Really?
You know, yeah, I mean, it's very expensive, and
Yeah.
it's a tough kind of world to crack. I mean, I've got lots of my my live fans are here in the UK at the moment, but I've got every intention of trying to build that and to travel outside of the UK and to play, because it's the best thing, is playing live for
Yes.
people.
Well,
Yeah,
you
it's
have you have an open invitation to come to. There are a lot of promoters that tune in to this show, and hey, I don't care what you have to do by hook or by crook. I'm going to make sure I get all the pertinent information so you can make sure you can get this very talented young lady out here to the States and play. I know it's very challenging to be an independent artist when you're in control of your own finances. You don't have the quote unquote machine to finance it, but I appreciate an independent artist because they have complete creative control over their music. And you don't have the machine trying to put you in the box to try to tell you you have to dress this way, you have to look this way, you have to point your music to this particular demographics. Music brings unity, and you have definitely done that. I love the person that you are. I can't wait to see the person that you become. There's so much ahead of you. Whatever you need, please don't hesitate to let us know. We love you. And more importantly, we respect you, my queen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been really lovely.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Again, family, be sure to stop by. That's at HattieWhitehead.bandcamp.com to purchase all the music, or if you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, you can always go over to iTunes/Apple to purchase of music too. My love, continued success. We look forward to seeing you here in the States very soon, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. The super talented Miss Hattie Whitehead here on Night Tracks Radio. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and allowing the teddy bear to help you tune out of all your negativity. A little bit overcast, but that's all right. We're going to get through it. And for those who missed the interview, no need to fear. All you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at Night Tracks with 2 X's. That's Night Tracks Radio Music Podcast. That's on YouTube. Also, if you want the audio portion, we're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Deezer, and also on Pandora. That's at Night Tracks with 2 X's. It's at Night Tracks Radio. And also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, same handle. And for the artist formerly known as Twitter, which is called X now, we're also on Twitter too, to make sure you get all the latest updates. I want to thank everyone. Without you, there's no Mr. Rated Extraordinaire, that one and only Teddy Bear. I want everyone to have a fantabulous weekend. And again, be sure to follow us on the website so you can get the latest updates as far as the upcoming artists that we're going to have on the show, because we have a lot to give to you. From Istanbul to Paula Abdul. If it's soulful, we're going to bring it to you. God bless. And as always, keep it soulful here on Night Tracks Radio. God bless.